Support for Tottenham On Tour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So if you're like me and you like to keep your junk tidy, this is the package for you. Ever get a cut on the nut? Or maybe you're like Daigle and you struggle to hear? For us, these tools help manage something we all struggle with in some way. My girlfriend's pretty pleased with the results, let me tell you. It's been quite good. Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived. It arrived a couple weeks ago for us, some of us at different times, and it's been a game changer for me. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 and the nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, which are fantastic, incredibly comfortable, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. It's the 4th generation trimmer featuring a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof as well and is also has a 400K LED spotlight you need for a more precise shave. Incredibly useful, let me tell you, in certain situations. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor as well. You thought that was good, of course, but you want to take your grooming to the next level, and Brian will. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof as well, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology too, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their crop trimmer ball deodorant and crop reviver ball toner, which change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me, when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which is fantastic. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code TIDYTOT. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Tottenham On Tour.
Brian, you're on mute. You told everyone to mute.
I know. That's what good.
Of all people, the sound engineer, the technical director.
Let me do the intro. Shush. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for an absolute shit of start of a podcast, but it happens sometimes, guys. Trying to get this ad situation correct when we intro it, when we show it to you guys. So apologize for my speaking to you and thinking you're listening to me, and Brian making fun of me. It's inevitable, going to happen. Want to welcome everybody here. Obviously, Brian, welcome. Adam, welcome. We have a special guest, Rez, in the house from Shelf Side Spurs. Rez, welcome. Thanks for being here, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. Ads, how are you, buddy? You doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm doing grand, man. Thanks. Yeah, Ireland have had a pretty good international break, so I'm happy out with that. We're coming up to a relatively easy game. I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, but it's Newcastle at the end of the day. I mean, they're not the biggest team in the world yet, like in terms of their players, like only by cash, and cash doesn't win you football games. So I'm expecting a win in here, and just have to be on the podcast as always, and just say hello to everyone in the chat as well. So yeah, good day all around. Hope everyone as well.
Excellent ads. Mr. Daigle, always good to see you, buddy, even when you're taking the piss out of me at the top of the pod, which is well deserved. I should have seen that, and I did say to you guys to mute your mics. And I'm so used to it unmuting automatically when it goes to the end of it, and it doesn't when you play 2 videos in a row. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Lots of stuff to talk about here. We're going to start with Bri. I'm going to let you start with an important discussion to be had.
Yeah, just first of all, I saw you mention it obviously on a Facebook group today, and then you said we must talk about this, and we must, because today marks 1 year, unfortunately, that the great Claude from Arsenal Fan TV sadly tragically passed away. Obviously, a year has flown by, obviously, with everything that's been going on in the world. But obviously, I don't know if people will remember when we were on Tottenham away. I was actually on a show with him, on a quiz with him. With a North London derby quiz with him and Kenny Ken. And I spoke to him, so I've been trying to reach out to him for ages, because I've been trying to put on one of those mental health shows that we've done on here and May the 4th on Tottenham on Tour, Tottenham away. And when I said to him, listen, I've been trying to tweet you for years and direct message you, but you probably saw the Tottenham logo and probably thought it was another troll. But this is, I just want to say that I know what you're going through and everything. I've been there, done that. And I had this great idea, and Claude was so happy to hear what I was saying, and was so proud to be a part of this. And then obviously we did the quiz. I got his number. We were communicating, and then obviously the very next day, I think it was in fact the very next day. Unfortunately, news got back. Obviously that he'd unfortunately passed away. So yeah, just wanted to mention that he's gone but not forgotten, and we're hoping he's up there resting in peace. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say in regards to Claude. Obviously, it's just a sad day, and it just shows how quick a year goes.
Yeah, it's been a wacky year, and of course, difficult for anything like that to happen. And shout out to anybody who's watching, who knows Claude, and who had an opportunity to meet the guy. From watching Arsenal Fan TV and sort of taking the piss at Arsenal Fan TV, he was the one guy there that, for me, kind of had a sense of reality, and also just he's just a genuine guy. He just seemed like a real nice guy. So unfortunate loss, and to anybody watching, our heart goes out to you.
Well, I mean, obviously with that, with that, obviously we've got to know Kenny Ken very well, and I speak to him very, very regularly, and he's a great guy and came on in his place, and Kenny Ken has already agreed to, obviously, when we have the date for the rematch for the NLD, Claude will be back for another pre-match.
Looking forward to that.
So he'll be coming back again. So yeah, Kenny Ken said he might be watching. So if he's watching, mate, God bless you as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's get into the international roundup. I'm going to start with my own personal, very exciting result. Obviously, on Sunday, Canada gets into the World Cup, qualifies for the World Cup for the first time since 1986. Absolutely massive.
Huge.
Wonderful performance, smashing Jamaica 4-0 at BMO Field here in Toronto, just around the corner from my house. I didn't go to the game. It was minus 13 degrees out in Celsius, minus 18 with the wind chill. Not a nice day to play, and I imagine those Jamaican players were probably just going, "Yeah, I don't know about this." You could just see
no wonder they lost 4-0. I reckon they were like frozen in state half the time.
Yeah. I mean, all the players had to deal with it, and it's not like they'd never played in cold before, but probably never played in that type of cold. It was ugly, but the BMO
they've bobsledded.
Yes, yeah, that's it, right? That's it. That's probably how they got here, right?
Toronto.
Hope they didn't bring shorts with them. Oh wait, they had to wear shorts.
Yeah.
What am I on about?
But they were, it was a full BMO field, and it's a massive thing for Canada for, to get back into the World Cup again. And they're playing really good football. Finished top of their group with a group that has Mexico, the United States in it. I mean that isn't official yet until they play the next game. And I think there's 2 more games to play, and if they just get a draw on one of them, they'll finish top of the group, which is a likelihood. So really, really good performance from Canada, and just playing good football. It's fun to watch, and I'm just buzzing because I don't have to cheer for England this World Cup. So,
well, you cheer for both, like I will be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I will always cheer for England, and that's just the nature of it sometimes. But I will be obviously very much cheering for Canada, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
I'll tell you how big this is. Obviously, when we were coming up, I watched the game against Costa Rica, which was the defeat, and then I said to Ilana that Canada could be going to their very, very first. And Ilana is not into football, our football. I've tried, and I've really tried, but I'm just getting nowhere with that. Hopefully, we've only been married coming up 8 years. Hopefully, by 10 or something, she'll.
She just needs other women that like it to be around, and then maybe she'll get into it. It helps.
I've taken her. One thing I will say about Alana, she, bless her, she will watch anything Canada. So when it comes to the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, she's one of the, so she'll watch it. But then when I said to her, listen, they could make it to the World Cup and it's going to be at BMO Field. History is going to be in the making. She's like, oh, can we get tickets? So that was a big start. But then obviously the price of them, as you know, Brian, I were through the, like literally through the roof.
Yeah, it's like $140 a ticket for Sean Welburn. That was just through a friend. So very expensive for a ticket.
It was just unbelievable to think. Like I said, I mean, me living in this country, I'm now eligible for my citizenship or what's it called? Residency. I know I've got permanent residency. What's it? We get whatever it is. I can get to become. So I become
Canadian. You get to become a Canadian, right?
So I become. I have my dual nationality. It's big for me. Canada is a big part and will be a big part of my life forevermore. So to see it, and then what? Two things I'm just going to bring up. One thing I did love at the end is when they did the interviews at the end, and they did the banging of the drum. One of the players just went up and said, oh, I'm fucking over them. And he goes, I'm sorry for my language. And even the reporter said, listen, Canada just qualified. Who gives a fuck?
Don't have to apologize for everything.
That would not happen back home. And there's a player, and I've been waxing lyrical about him on Twitter, and I've been waxing lyrical ever since I watched the game with you, Brian. When it comes to identifying and one for the future and everything, people need to go and check out Tajon Buchanan.
Great player.
Because I would take him at Tottenham Hotspur in an absolute minute. But now we've just got to pray that obviously, first of all, Canada, I'm just praying, don't go in England's group. Don't go in England's group. It'll be like war here at home. And the good thing is, I mean,
between your nations, Brian.
Yes, and the time
easy
difference.
Choice.
I've seen that the first games are going to be at 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. So very, very early nights and very, very early morning. But no, Joe, what? It's a wonderful thing for Canada, especially with the World Cup coming here next.
Yeah, for sure.
It's monumental. So it's a very proud moment, and you must. I mean, Brian, and Adam, I'm not taking the piss here out of Ireland or anything, but I've never known for a club, my country, apart from 1994 in America and 2006 in the Euros, England have been there every single tournament in my life. So I don't obviously identify with how big a moment this is. And then obviously, as you were saying, 1986, I know Ireland went through patches and they're going through patches now where they're not qualifying for World Cup.
Not since 2002, mate. And even then we had the whole Roy Keane thing, but less said about that, the better.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive for this country, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, huge. And Canada as a country come together massively when, in like Alana, you said, when the whole country can get behind a team. We saw it with the Raptors in basketball. It's the only NBA team that Canada has, and the whole country gets behind them. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wish it wasn't in Qatar. I wish Qatar didn't have all that crap behind it because I struggle with that, but I am going to have to watch it now.
That's Sepp Blatter for you, man.
Yeah, my country's in it. Some other talking points here.
I mean, I can't.
Go ahead, Rez.
I would, under normal circumstances, I'd be, I'd watch a World Cup anyway. But I'd be particularly interested in following Canada because they would be, just a new, not a new entrant, but a country that
it's new, man. It's since '86. It's as new as it comes, basically.
Nearly 40 years since they've been in a World Cup. It'd be interesting to watch, but unfortunately, I'm boycotting this World Cup. Completely.
You are doing it, Erez, because I was boycotting it and I was pretty strong about it. And this one is just kind of like, oh man, Canada? What are you doing to me? Yeah. making it difficult.
We qualify for the last one.
Yeah, and we automatically qualified for one in Canada, which is 4 years from now. So 4 years, 4 years from now.
That one I'll watch.
Yeah, that one will be that one.
You know what, Red?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Reg is coming here hopefully in September, so he's going to be part Canadian as well. So he'll be out here. He'll be at the building. But this is the thing. Like Aaron said, and Aaron is a very, very close friend of mine. Love you to death, Aaron. He was saying like Ireland aren't going there, and this World Cup he's got family that are Korean and Japanese. But it's given people that aren't going that have known us, like Dermot from Tottenham Tantrum Gold has been saying, brilliant. I can support Canada. it's wonderful what it's doing within this community. People are going, oh, I'm going to keep an eye out for Canada now because of obviously the Canadians are part.
We got
of
our
the
contingent, man.
community.
We've arrived a little bit, which is nice. And
Yeah.
it's a bloody time.
Yeah, plus like the Irish supporters especially can like relate to like Canada, the Canadian fans, because like not being in the World Cup up like for the first time in God knows how long, like, and basically if anything we're kind of jealous now, I think, because you're going and we're not, like, but I mean when you get beaten like off the park by Luxembourg, like you get what you deserve, like.
Yeah, unfortunately that's the case. Ads, and what? Just cheer for Canada with us for this one, buddy.
Definitely will.
You're with Brian and I and on the channel, and we'll be rooting for him, obviously, so you can follow along. I don't know what the times, Brian. I didn't realize the times were that bad. I thought they were a little bit more midday, but
no. So that basically is for the group stages.
Right.
So when it's like 4
it gets
games
better
a
as
day,
it gets further on, doesn't
as it gets later and later, obviously the games will be evening time there, which will go back. So there's a 7-hour time difference, like Israel is. So obviously if they kick off a game, I think the World Cup final will be around midday. For instance, the semi-finals will be around that sort of time. But I'm just praying England don't get Canada. Although that might be fun to do, you and me. In a pub.
I mean, good. It'd be amazing. Yeah. Anything else to talk about today? England played today, right? Another friendly. Nothing with qualifying. They qualified a while back, but they won again. Anything to report or that you care about?
The interesting thing is Serge Aurier, I think, getting sent off for 2 yellows.
Playing center half is that?
Yeah,
true?
I think so. And yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked that Serge, I always thought of him as a level-headed, stable,
Yeah, Serge Aurier got sent off for the red card. How did that happen?
Yeah. No, I can't sustain that bullshit.
Yeah. The shock and awe, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was too confident to get himself sent off.
Yeah, I think, from what I understand, I didn't watch it. I was doing tech support for a 70-year-old Iranian woman who calls herself my mum, and she
sweet.
It is, but it's very frustrating when she forgets her PIN numbers. So from what I understand, he fouled someone and then got sent, and then got a second booking for dissent. For
in the same passage of play.
I might be wrong.
That sounds right too.
So yeah, Serge gone. Apparently Kane. I think Kane didn't start. He only played half an hour, but
which is great. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, that's fantastic news.
From what I understand, we've got through. I don't know how many more there are, but we've got through the international break so far. Oh no, apart from Davis, I'm still not 100%.
Oh yeah, I think that's likely he's going to be okay. Romero didn't play at all, and that was just a giant waste of a trip.
Wasted joint.
He could have just stuck with the squad and trained.
They could have named him in the squad, and he just stayed at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
would have been fine.
Get on the flight.
No,
you're in the squad, but you're in England.
Yeah,
but he has some sort of what's the thing they call in Harry Potter? There's a ability cloak or something like that.
Right? Do they have to actually travel with them?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a silly one. Ericsson scores again, or Ericsson scores.
Let me just speak about England before we move off England.
Okay.
So obviously, I think our Superman's in the Superman is in the building. So yeah, I mean, out of that England game again, and this is a player we looked at years ago when he was younger, and he is doing wonders. It is Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham was absolutely incredible with what he's doing today. I mean, Gareth Southgate has got.
Is he still at Norwich? Isn't he playing at Norwich?
No, he's at Borussia Dortmund. You got the right colours.
Right, that's what it is. He's wearing yellow. He's wearing yellow.
Yeah, he's got a little bit higher up and playing with Haaland. Could you imagine Haaland? You're mistaking Haaland and Pookie.
I did not mistake Haaland and Pookie. I just mistaken the color of the shirt.
Jude Bellingham was incredible. I think England, honestly, I said it with you, Brian, at the Euro final, that I honestly reckon England have the biggest chance of going there. The reason I'm saying that as well is when England go to that World Cup, they're going in November when they're getting into it's not like end of the season, right? Let's go over, let's train for 3 weeks and start again. They are going to be razor sharp. They are.
In theory,
if England can avoid injuries, go before going into that World Cup, especially with big teams like Italy not being there, which is a huge obstacle overcome already without them being there.
Mm-hmm.
We honestly, England have a real shot. There's people saying Gareth Southgate will make mistakes because he did in the Euros and he's not the right man. Listen, he's united that team. And you know what? I actually think he's probably going to learn more from losing that Euro final than he would have done winning it. As stupid as that sounds.
You'd expect that in that situation. I think he gets a bad rap. I think he's done a great job with the England side. Is there another manager you could bring in that maybe takes him to another level? Probably, but who are they, and are they available right now? Absolutely not. So,
but we've experimented with that with England. We had. We brought in Sven-Göran Eriksson.
You did the Italian
Capello.
Capello.
The idea of this sort of the genius tactician, and English football is certainly becoming more technical and more tactical. But there's always been this tradition of playing, simple,
a certain way.
Or not simplistic, but more fundamental football. Just play a simplish system and just do what you do best and express yourself. This is why what's it called? Brian Clough would have been the best England manager, because that's exactly how he managed. He's a bit of a sort of personal hero of mine, and he said it. Football's a simple game. Yeah, and he made it simple for his players, even to the point of giving them a pint of beer the night before so they would relax for the game. I mean,
legend.
Obviously, you wouldn't do that now. The game. Yeah. But it's that sort of approach, and maybe I'm not saying one way or the other, but maybe Southgate is simple enough for them,
but also has a little bit of a tactical nous to him as well. He recognizes a little bit of shape change, a little bit of like, what system am I going to play depending on the team I'm playing against. Playing 3 at the back sometimes, playing 4 at the back sometimes. He has enough to change it up when necessary, and that's, I think, what's got him to where he is. But at the same time, like you said, Rez understands the simplicity of football and like when he was playing in England and the way they were playing. So I think it makes sense. I'd say keep him. He hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, England are the best they've been in a long time, and he's been managing them.
He's the first manager ever to go to a semi-final and a final on back-to-back tournaments. He is the first manager to ever do it in England's history, and that can't be taken away. And I know you want to.
He's got that waistcoat as well, which is like, he looks slick in that thing. So.
He has.
He looks like a hipster.
Let's just
you say that like that's a bad thing, Adam.
It's a bad thing. Go ahead.
So mad at hipsters. What's wrong with hipsters?
What's up, Wayne, brother?
He's going to grow a beard soon.
Doesn't he have a beard? It just needs to be longer and bushier.
It does need to be a bit sort of like more pronounced.
Exactly. Yeah, silly
just keeping this with England as well before we go on to international roundup. Obviously, there's something I wanted to bring up as well. I discussed with Brian Ireland. Obviously, Dane Scarlett tonight has gone and bagged another 2 goals for England under 19s. I think, listen, we couldn't send him out on loan until he was 18, because you can't send people out on loan until they're 18. He's now
18 yesterday, I think.
It's this month for sure.
It was like yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
I think there's 1 or 2 things that obviously it just highlights our need for a backup striker, but I think 1 or 2 things that's got to either happen. Either A, he goes out on loan immediately in the summer and gets his minutes, because we are just absolutely stifling him, having him on the bench doing nothing, or Jermaine Defoe comes home and has Troy Parrott and does his kind of build, both his kind of striker, and trains them how to finish and how to be the player. Because there you go, Daniel Troy Parrott's getting on the score sheet as well. I've been hearing good things about him on his current loan deal. I keep forgetting where it is. Someone in the comments will put it. But yeah, Dane Scarlett, what do you guys think about?
To add to that, Bri, he has been by the club, or at least it's been reported by the club that he has been Jermaine Defoe's been offered. If you want to do your badges, do them here at Hotspur Way with Tottenham, which I think he'll probably end up taking, which is exactly what we're hoping for. And I think
apparently
you can't go wrong with that at all.
Apparently, we've opened the door. I would slam it down and kidnap him and drag him to Tottenham.
I don't think you'll need to, though. That's a bit extreme, Brian. But I don't. Okay, so quickly, I wanted to just talk about Eriksson, because Eriksson scored another goal.
Can I just cover Bob's point? That final sentence is absolutely bang on the money, because certainly in this country, we've had this habit of just
really don't want to talk about Eriksson.
ripping into England managers.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
without
I've noticed
England players, England managers. Brian and I were talking about this the other day.
no,
you guys
sense
do not
of
want to
unity,
succeed.
no sense of getting
not
behind the
complain.
team.
Yeah.
So he's fortunate that the media have been very, very gentle and kind with him.
Yeah.
Would they want to be with how much he's achieved?
Deservedly so, I think. Yeah,
I think he deserves it. But right from the off, he didn't get that raw deal. I mean, they went after Ericsson, with a passion. They went after Capello, Ayler, what's his name, Allardyce. They always want to rip these people to shreds, and usually in the run up to a tournament as well. And so it has been really, really important that having the media, back him, because it just allows him then to concentrate on the actual England team rather than having to bat away ridiculous media speculation half the time as well.
Yeah,
Rez,
for sure.
Just to add to that as well, Rez, I think what we've done well is Spain, and I'm not comparing us to Spain when they had their golden, but when Spain started coming through and winning back-to-back World Cup Euro, or whatever way they did it, they had a manager that saw them through the young age and grew with them, and then came in and said, right, once these players come through, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And we've done that with Southgate. Whether you like him or not, think he's the right man or a big enough name, like you said with the media, but he has seen these players, apart from like the likes of Jude Bellingham, who are too young.
But he knows the young players because he's worked with them.
Exactly, he's worked with the majority of them.
He's worked with the majority
of them. So when they came to the senior team, they knew how he worked. He knew how they worked. It sorted out this kind of relationship. I think he's doing a great job, and obviously, long may it continue.
Yeah. All right, we've talked about England. We've talked about England enough, guys. Let's move on from that.
Let's talk about Canada.
Yeah, exactly. We only touched on Canada for like 2 minutes, and you guys are like England. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking for the English in the comments. Just let me say this: Ericsson scored a goal at the ground that he nearly died on today, and it was a wonderful goal.
Well, really.
And it was first time back, and it really, really nice goal.
Jeez,
that's 2 goals in 2 games for him. Nice to see an old player who didn't leave in the best possible way, but is getting back to his best and is healthy and is able to pop in some big goals for his team. So it was nice to see that. Anything else on the international stage? I think that kind of covers most of it. A couple other things in the news quickly that I wanted to chat about is the Kane to United bit. Have you guys seen this sort of? It's kind of picking up steam in the media. Rez, any thoughts on that? Is it nonsense? Should we be worried about it? Does Conte stay if Kane goes? That's sort of the obvious conversation going on. What are your thoughts on that?
It's March, so obviously the clock has started on the speculation of Kane to another club. Because it's on a timer now. You know at The Simpsons at the beginning where it says the number of days since the last sort of accident, and they've got like
yeah.
That's basically every day journalists just rip another one off, and it just counts down to 0, and we got there now. Yeah. So 100%. Good on the journalists. You can get on with what you've been doing for the last 6 years. In terms of Kane to Man United, it's to be expected. There's a lot sort of going on with Man U at the moment. Rangnick is going to be, taking his place in the consultant's office at the end of this season. And he's, from what we understand, he's going to be sort of overseeing the rebuild, and they're going to be wanting one, I think. But whether or not it will be any kind of sort of foregone conclusion is difficult.
That's a good one. Slap him upside the head.
leave you walk up to the Glazers and not mighty slap there. They might gain some respect for once.
Pop culture references going on here. We're on point here on this channel. Good stuff.
But to be fair, I mean, look, we don't really do much business with Man United. They wanted Dyer a while ago. They wanted Alderweireld a while ago. Speculative reports. They've said they've wanted Kane for a while, and we just don't really do business with them since the Berbatov
madness, debacle.
a bit like Chelsea. So this idea that he will go there because Man United want him, well, allegedly Man City wanted him last summer and he didn't go.
United aren't the same draw as they were before. I know that they're probably still one
No.
of the biggest clubs in the world, but as a club right now in the state that they're in, they're not. They're below us in the league at the moment, and they're in a probably even worse sort of transition phase than we're in right now. Like having an interim manager who isn't really a manager, not sure who that's going to be when it comes to the summertime. Harry Kane's looking at that. He's not sitting there going, "Ooh, I can't wait to go to United." Like that's just not going to be the case. Like
how big player is.
If he's going to push himself to go anywhere, he's going to go somewhere that's absolutely going to be guaranteed in the Champions League. That's going to have a top manager that's going to make him better, and he's going to stay in the Premier League. So it's City still if he's going to go anywhere.
It would have to be Liverpool or City.
Basically. Yeah, those are the only two teams he's going to go.
The only ones, and he's not going to go to Liverpool because Liverpool won't want him. They don't need him really.
Yeah, not the system for him either.
And Man City, are going to be getting Haaland.
Yep.
So
he's with us. He's sticking with us.
It's one of our own. Spread the word.
I think it's the fact that the sort of the striker market is going to be quite fluid this summer because Mbappe is going to be going to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Haaland is on offer, but it really will come down to between I think Man City and PSG if PSG want to replace Mbappe. But I don't think PSG will get him because he's got a connection with Man City because his dad played for them.
Yeah.
His dad is part of his entourage.
Yep.
So, but there's going to be gaps quite early on, I reckon, especially with Haaland's release clause, which is 75 million for a player of that caliber is peanuts. Anyone who can afford him will want to afford him.
Going to drop the money, no problem.
Yeah, and Man City can do that like that. So once he's sort of moves from Dortmund, there's going to be holes, and Mbappe moves to Real Madrid. There's going to be holes opening all over the place for people to move around in, and so the speculation will be, obviously Harry Kane will be on the move. Then it's like, will he? He's 29. He's still got 2 years on his contract, so we don't have to sell him. And we've got one of the best managers in the world in place if he stays.
To get that top four, though, that top four really, really fucking matters. I think.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, listen, if Conte walks, Kane will walk or will ask to walk.
Yeah,
because he's not. There's no. Who else are we going to get?
Yeah,
he had Mourinho, who turned him into the best player in the league last year, even though he didn't get the Player of the Season award when he should have. And then we got Conte. Obviously, we got Nuno as well. Then we got Conte. There's no one else really. Who are you going to get? Guardiola? No, he's not coming. Tuchel? Again, it's not quite of that profile. There's no one else in world football really.
Yeah.
So if Conte goes,
we have to keep Gattuso. Yeah, we have to keep Conte at all costs, and we keep Conte, we keep Kane, and I think that will happen this summer, in my opinion. Brian, thoughts on the rumors of this United nonsense? Is it nonsense? Is it worth even talking about? Should I have brought it up?
I'll start it with words from Adam Sandler, which is bullshit. That's basically what this rumor is. But what you got to remember with Manchester United, yes, they may not be a bigger project or a bigger. They may not be the draw they were, but one thing you do know if you go to Man U is they will spend money. They will back a manager. They will bring players in.
Okay, so two things you said there quickly. Two things you said there quickly before you move on, and I agree with you. They will spend money. They won't spend it well because they haven't in years. Like if you look at their squad, it's full of single individual players. That is that backing the manager by definition? Arguably, I would say no. They've had too many managers to back.
So this all depends who comes in. If an Eric Ten Hag or a Pochettino comes in, they will spend it wisely.
I agree.
Then they will spend it wisely because they will be like, right, here we go. We got a manager. He's staying for a while, and whether you like it or not, when a player hears, but I'm not saying Harry Kane. I mean any player. When you hear the name Manchester United are interested because of who they are and because of the money they have, they are always involved in these things. Do I think he's going to go to United? Hell no. Do I think, listen, if he ends the season the way he's finishing, he's going to be in touching distance, like within a season scoring of beating Jimmy Greaves. And there is no way when he could go down. I said to the Canada, I said when Canada qualified, I did congratulations on becoming immortal. And if Harry Kane breaks Jimmy Greaves' record, which we all want him to, he is immortal. no matter what he wins, he'll go down as Tottenham's greatest goal scorer. He's undoubtedly going down very easily, going down as England's greatest scorer. And it's going to take a while to beat how far Kane's going to get ahead of Rooney. I don't think, but obviously, it's what we said. If Conte walks, he walks. If he walks, Conte walks. It is that simple. And if Conte walks, I'm back in June. People know where they're finding. It won't be outside the training ground because no one will be there. It'll be outside Hotspur Way or Lily White House, whatever the fuck he calls that building next to the stadium. And I will not be quiet.
So harsh on the Lily White House. What did they ever do to you?
Lily White House.
I know, that's what I said.
I just, you know what, last season I was on record saying I really thought he was going to go. I really, really, really thought he was going to go. I thought Man City would walk down what Parasite asked for and he would go. But I think as long as Conte's there, he's going nowhere. And let's just hope those two come the first game of the season are standing one on the pitch and one by the side of the pitch, not knowing what his technical area is because Antonio Conte doesn't understand. I think
he doesn't have a technical area.
No, he's got a technical area. I think he thinks he just cannot enter that area because he walks around every single part from it. But yeah, it's nonsense. It's like Rez said, it's here we go again. We ain't got shit to say. It's International Week. Let's just make up a rumor. And
I'm sorry I brought it up. To be fair, Adams, Clarke, anything to add?
It has to be brought up.
I know. I'm kidding, Rez.
You know what? I'm going to say something that basically Rez already said, but using different words. It's no coincidence that they've bought. Suddenly, Kane has been linked to Man United this late in the season. And also, I want to bring up a comment here by Carl Simpson, and he hits the nail on the head perfectly. Just first part of this comment, once again, the media are trying to derail us. How many times have they tried to derail us, even when we've not been fighting for top four? They've always had this bias against us for some reason. I don't know why, because apparently we're one of the top six, but yet they have this bias, such a bias against us that we might as well be a mid-table side or just any other side outside the top six. So once again,
I've heard some speculation as to why it actually is, because the current crop of journalists, when they were sort of growing up and watching football as kids, that was when Arsenal were sort of doing their Invincibles thing, and so they all followed Arsenal, and it sort of seeped into their
glory hunters,
their psyche to be anti-Spurs.
There you go.
Two glory hunters. Yeah, I bet you now once Arsenal stopped winning trophies and stuff, even under Wenger, that they just hopped off and probably started supporting City or Chelsea.
Yeah, just one other thing in the news, guys, I want to talk about before we get into the preview of the game. This is actually kind of funny. Nuno Espirito Santo, what he said to Joe Hart. Have you guys heard this yet?
No, I didn't even know he spoke to Joe Hart, to be honest.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, when he was at the club, he said, "I don't want you playing 1 minute. You're too slow, too old, and you've got no strength." Joe Hart recalls how brutal Espirito Santo's dismissal of him left him considering retirement.
He showed that on the. Just wish he showed it on the sidelines rather than just standing like this for 90 minutes and not moving. Because if he spoke like that to a player who wants out the door, if he spoke that to some of the players that he had, they might have got a tune out of them. Because to me, seeing this come out of Joe Hart's mouth, I believe it, but that sounds very unlike Nuno. Or just shows how badly he was on the verge of a breakdown or depression, and I'm not joking, because
There's also a little bit of one goalkeeper to another there that I could see coming into play, where he's like, he's kind of, he knows the position and maybe feels like he has a bit more he could say about it. But I just thought it was funny. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but it was kind of funny to hear. I'm like, holy shit.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. Like that's harsh. Like cheered me up a lot.
It was pretty damn brutal. It's not, and it's sort of, as you say, very seemingly out of character for Nuno. He always. He has this reputation for being a nice person, and that's not. Listen, the thing that you got to bear in mind though is that tone is very difficult to convey in print.
100%. It could have been said as a joke to some extent, right?
Or he could have said it in the kindest tones possible. True. And it was like, look, Joe, I love you, but. And the rest of it comes. We don't know.
Can of worms open.
To be true, to be fair, it was. I think it needed saying. I mean, Joe Hart used to be an amazingly good goalkeeper, and then
he lost it completely.
You know, a bit like Paul Robinson. Do you remember when Paul Robinson? He was.
I loved him.
Good. And then that thing happened against Croatia, I think it was, where the ball bobbled over his foot, and it was completely not his fault. It was a divot in the pitch. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah,
and everyone jumped on his back, and his confidence just went. And I think the similar thing might have happened with Hart, possibly, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a loss of confidence. At some point he lost his confidence, and you know that just got into his game, and he never really regained it. Having said that, he's doing well in Scotland, which is maybe the level he's at right now, and that
great question, Adam. Bring up by Adrian.
Adrian,
one below you when you're on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Here we go.
Got a great Facebook group called Spurs Die Hard or Spurs Die. Adrian, can you put it in for me again, buddy? It's a great group. I'm always I've been very active on today, actually, but it's a great point. Why is there constant speculation?
I have an answer to this question. I have an answer, a very quick, simple answer to this question. Because you don't pay attention to their media. I have talked to Paul, who's part of our other channel, The North End, and he's like, guys, it's the same for us as it is for you. You're just not watching our media. You don't follow the same stuff we follow on Facebook groups or on Twitter. It's completely bonkers about all these players going to other places, all the controversy. Every fucking team deals with it. It's not specific Spurs. It's a bit conspiratorial to think that's the case. That's my position on it, and I've heard it from a lot of different clubs.
I've not heard commentators commentating on matches talk about, like when we played West Ham the other day, they didn't speculate about Kane. Actually, they did speculate about Kane, but they didn't speculate about Declan Rice. They said, you know, Kane.
I've heard Declan Rice speculated about, though. I've heard it. Sure he's going to another club. I've heard it.
I think it's the difference between it's not saying there's no speculation.
It's just how much,
the amount of speculation.
Yeah, maybe. I do think that comes from us watching or listening to it more.
Well, you could argue
there's a bias there.
You could argue that Kane is hotter property.
Well, that too.
Exactly.
He's also
there is that to argue, but I think that Adrian's got a partial point in terms of whenever we get a player that is deemed too good for Spurs, they really go to town. And I don't see it quite as much with other teams, like James Ward-Prowse, for instance, right? I've not heard any speculation at Southampton games that, you know, oh, where's he going to end up after the summer? And it's like, well, maybe Southampton, you know. You know, whereas it's like constant, you know, is Kane going to get his move? Well, how do you know he wants a move now? You know.
Yeah, so it's one thing to add to this too, and I think the point that what was the comment you just had up about from Super Tottenham? Constant speculation at Spurs point because Spurs did sell their players for 30 years, and I think that is ingrained in many pundits and many people's just sort of consciousness about what Spurs have always done. We're on this cusp of becoming a team that doesn't do that, but there's still a lot of people who are in football who see us as a team that will do that if the right money comes in. We'll sell the player. We've done it up until very recently, you know, like in the last few seasons. So I recognize that, you know, it seems like it's more than for our club, but our club was a team that was a selling team until very recently. So I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, that for me is the reasoning. Now, if that keeps going for another 10 years, then okay, maybe we've got a problem here. Yeah, nice one, Jimmy.
All hail Ryan Mason.
Yes,
or Ryan Mason.
Mason in.
He'll actually that's the statue that Levy will build outside the ground. Ryan Mason
saving his ass on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Anything to add to that, fellas, before we move on to Newcastle?
Thank God Premier League is back. Thank God.
Right. Oh, I know. Right?
I second that.
Yeah, as much as I enjoyed Canada qualifying, I would still rather watch Spurs week in, week out than watch any international football. It drives me nuts. Kyle Walker-Peters would be fantastic to come back to the club. He never should have left in the first place. Never got the time he should have played. What a ridiculous and silly. I mean, just silly. Not recognizing how good he was or how good he is. And recognizing that now that's the position we desperately need a player of his type who would be very good under Conte. And we'll probably end up buying them back. Or by somebody just like them, or like, why did we sell them? So we've got Newcastle at home at the weekend. I am going to miss this game. Sadly, I'm going to be flying out as the game is kicking off, which is a bit of a disappointing situation.
They're flying to Brian.
I'm flying to Vancouver, staying in country, just going out there to work. So it's nothing overly exciting, just making some money.
If you said the Bahamas, I wouldn't have felt sorry for you at all.
Yeah, and fair. That makes sense completely. Newcastle coming off 3 wins in a row, a team that before January were looking like potential to go down after being purchased by ridiculously rich owners. The games that they've won against were Southampton, Brighton, and Brentford, 2-1, 2-1, and 2-0 respectively. 3 teams that haven't been very good recently. So good for them for turning it around. I mean,
they lost their last game, Brian. They lost their last game to Everton.
Oh, did they? Am I missing
the
something?
The one where the person chained himself to the goal.
Oh, right. I think I went backwards at the recent results, and they lost to Chelsea.
Recently,
they lost to Chelsea away, so they've won 3 of
the last 2, and then they won the 3 before.
3 of their last 5. I was
lost.
100%. So the app I usually look at it does it the opposite direction. So, so their form has been pretty good. They still played reasonably well against Chelsea, and obviously the Everton game, I think got a little bit lucky. Our form has been 4 out of the last 5 that we've won, obviously coming off that West Ham result and the Brighton result, looking good in the league. Going into this game, I know, Brian, I'm start with you on this because I know for you, they're a bogey team, Newcastle. We've had moments with Newcastle where we're like, come on, we should be beating this Newcastle team. And it seems like a consistent thing that happens at least once a season with them. How are you feeling going into it? Are you nervous? Are you feeling good? Are our recent results and our recent form enough for you to sort of ignore the bogey thing, or are you still feeling that?
No. This is one of the things.
Spurs supporter, why would he forget that?
No. I do get very superstitious with these kind of, but I am one of those that fall for this. And Newcastle at home always seem to be some kind of a problem, even when they shouldn't be. But the good thing is Romero hasn't played. Romero comes back fit. Romero comes back early and fit. Harry Kane hasn't played a full game today and didn't really stretch his legs and everything, so he's coming back. The worry is Ben Davies. We will see how he is. And this game, always, no matter whenever we play them, this home game, not the away, the home game, always seems to worry. I mean, you look at last season, even away when we're 2-0 up and we drew 2-2, and Willock, that Arsenal player, came on. Yes, we beat them this season on the day the new owners took their first job. This game does worry me. This game actually worries me more than the North London derby, only because of being a bogey team. Home to the filth, we do well. But seeing the fact that Romero's come back early is something that is lightening my mood. I am concerned, but yeah, I think I've said when we did our Tottenham Tottenham TV takeover that I think it'll be a draw. I'm standing by it, but I can easily see us. I can see us winning it, but I'm going for a draw. So then I can only be happy if we win and not disappointed if we draw. But Newcastle, like you said, you got to remember before that Everton game, they had won the most points in the Premier League in the new year, apart from Liverpool. And that shows how well they've been playing. Wherever their money has come from, whatever they're doing, they are on form and they have got the points to back it up. They are completely out of relegation now. So they're playing with a bit of freedom. And that concerns me. That concerns me. But I'm going for a draw. And but I think there's a chance we might.
I was going to say the score predictions for the end there, like we usually do, Brian. But
I haven't given my score prediction. I've given my result.
That's fair. You did say result draw, and we talked about this in our we were Tottenham on tour takeover at the weekend on Friday. Shout out to those lads, by the way, too, for having us on and just quickly get that in there.
Yeah,
fantastic stuff. It was a lot of fun doing the channel. Rez, your thoughts on Newcastle? Are you nervous? Are you similar to Brian and bogey side, or you think because of our form and where we've been the last 4 or 5 games that we've got enough?
It's a very confusing one because I mean they did sort of strengthen in January, but they didn't strengthen to the extent that would make them a tough sort of mid-table side. They bought a player that I wanted us to buy in Kieran Trippier, but he then got injured You know, and other than that, their defense is still pretty shaky. I think the difference is that it's actually been Eddie Howe, because with Steve Bruce, it was, you know, very functional, very utilitarian. We are Newcastle. We shouldn't expect to sort of play good football, just football that allows us to survive. Whereas Eddie Howe has injected a different style and given their players more freedom to express.
It looks like they're having more fun, right? Like you can
Exactly.
see it the way they're playing, and it comes out in the results, I think.
Yeah, which every football player will love. You know, most football players want to play the way that they enjoy playing. It's a game ultimately, and I think that that's what's contributed to their sort of work up the table and out of the sort of relegation danger. I think they're probably safe now. Because of that, you know, but even with that, under normal circumstances, you would think, because she wants to be a football girl, nice, excellent. You know, under normal circumstances, you think, yeah, well, you know, they're good, but they're still a bottom third club. You know, you should beat. But we've said that before. You know, they were actually relegated when we went to play them at their stadium on the last day of the season.
We lost 5-1, didn't we?
And we lost 5-1. Oh. Right?
Yeah.
And it happened so many times with Newcastle. They've just pulled out. You know, I still have nightmares of the worldies that Tim Krul used.
He's had some games against us, hasn't he? Just ridiculous, man.
You know,
you remember that? Yeah, no, never mind.
It's like he shit for the whole season except for 2 games when he plays Spurs.
Yeah.
You know,
that was always the case.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It's gonna. My heart wants to say we've turned the corner. That we've started to come. We've come into form as well. You know, we might have won the last 2 games and lost the game before, but to be honest, we played well against Man United. You know, we've played well for 3 games on the trot. You know, why can't we make it 4 games on the trot? Yeah, exactly. Remember the 7-1, exactly. You know, but you never know. You never know. So yes, I'm nervous. In answer to your original question, Brian, yes, I am nervous. I'm not. I'm going to be at the game, and we'll see where the dice fall. Yeah, I'm nervous.
Yeah, understandable. I think we all are. I mean, that's sort of the nature of being a Spurs fan. And this is the thing that makes me nervous a little bit is after an international break, had we played them immediately and we kept going with the sort of momentum we were on, I would feel like completely comfortable. I still am relatively comfortable, but Adam, I want to get your thoughts. How are you feeling going in against Newcastle? Are any nervous about the bogey situation, or do you feel confident enough with the way we've been playing?
A bit of both. Like I said earlier, I'm cautiously optimistic, but of course I'm a Spurs fan, so like that's the case in every game. But I am slightly more cautiously optimistic about this game because Newcastle have just been such an absolute bogey team. They've been the definition of a bogey team as far as we're concerned in the past few years. But that's kind of like, I think it's worn off a bit recently. So there's not as much to worry about as there was in the past. But for starters, they don't have Tim Krul anymore to make 30 or 40 saves against us. So that's a major positive.
Although
Dubravka does that shit too, though. So
he's back, and he might be back in training.
He does it to a lesser extent. I mean, come on, 30 to 40 saves in one game is ridiculous. So Eddie Howe, do you know actually? And this it's been in the past 18 months. We were like linked to Eddie Howe once or twice. I think it was last summer, the first time we went for Conte, we didn't get him. We were linked to him for quite a bit. I mean, looking back in hindsight, that's actually mad considering Conte is now managing us. We were like, we're just sitting here like, well, why the hell did we go to Eddie Howe? I mean, desperate times called for desperate measures. But like, you know what? Eddie Howe, I think, is a perfect fit for Newcastle. I mean, he did such a good job overall at Bournemouth. And now here he is once again taking a relegation tier side and who were definitely without the shadow of a doubt going down at the start of the season, who were almost guaranteed to go down. And he's brought them up to, like Brian Daigle said, to safe place. Yes, I mean, they're like over 10 points away from relegation now. So huge big up and respect Eddie Howe for that. But for this game, I want us to beat them, but I don't think we're going to beat them by an awful lot. And they probably will score goals because, bogey teams hasn't worn off that much.
So I'm gonna chime in here on my thoughts on it. I think this bogey team thing is a bit of nonsense. I don't think that exists as a thing. I think that it really just depends on the circumstances of the game itself in the moment that you're playing it. And I think we have way more than enough to beat beat them comfortably. And we'll get to a scoreline once we get into the details of it. But I wanted to talk about some of the players they have. And I don't know about injuries, guys. So if you want to quickly take a look at who's fit, is there anybody in this team that we should be worried about in particular? And obviously their midfield, they got John Joe Shelby, who can pick a pass. They've got this new guy in Bruno Guimaraes, who they brought in, who he's been up and down. I've seen him play really well. The last game he played, though, he was absolutely terrible. So, and again, that can be sometimes, the nature of the situation. And of course, you've got Alan St. Maximin, who is in any team, he's going to be a player. He's sort of that Adama Traore, St. Maximin. They're the similar type of players where they're going to run at you. I think actually he's a better player than Traore is, especially with his finishing. Any of these players, guys, Rez, will start with you. Any of these players in particular we should be worried about, or that you're worried about that we need to keep an eye on?
I always worry about John Joe Shelby, to be honest, but then that's countered a little bit by his lack of discipline.
Yeah, true.
Sent off against us twice, in actual fact. I might be wrong on that, but he can be a bit ill-disciplined. But he can pick a pass. In a way, actually, I think Howe's Newcastle would be better for us to play against than Bruce's Newcastle.
Suits us,
Bruce's Newcastle, would just sit back, and we've had problems against that. Howe's Newcastle plays a lot more open, and they've got that brittle defense, basically that defense that still hasn't really been solved, which was championship level at the beginning of the season, and hasn't been improved a huge amount. Of course, absolutely, Sean. That goes without saying. The one that sort of concerns me, or the thing that concerns me, is that I've heard that Dubravka is back in training, having been injured. He's always a good goalkeeper. Obviously, he's not Tim Krul, but he's done it to us before. And you know what? I think I don't like to be irrational and think about stuff like bogey teams, but I think back to last season at home and just the manner in which we were shafted by Peter Banks in the Joe Linton poleaxes Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and he then gets the free kick.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Which then we get a handball awarded against us, and they walk away with a point. And it's stuff like that, that
it's comedic, really. Like when you think about it, when you say it out loud, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it's so bad, it's funny.
It's always Newcastle that it happens with us, so that's why I'm nervous. There's no one that I fear outright in the Newcastle squad. No one that I look at and go, "Oh yeah, he can cause us problems." It's just circumstance, I think.
Adam, how about you, mate? Anybody in particular you're worried about, or
no? But at the same time, I would not totally write off really their star players. I know they can cause trouble, but the thing is, they're kind of really inconsistent. I mean, they're 14, so you'd expect them to be inconsistent to a certain extent. Players like Joe Linton, I've always threw my eye over and said, he could be a good player one day. He could be class, but really, I don't. Yeah, he could be a threat against us, but it depends what defense and what team turns up. Like one comment said earlier, I think it was Super Tottenham that put in that comment, and it depends how good our defense is. If we play like we did against United, then I mean, he could grab a goal or two, but that doesn't mean to say we won't win because of our excellent front three. So yeah, if I was like Romero, Dyer, and the rest of the fellas in that backline, I'd watch out for players like Joe Linton and the others as well. I mean, inside now, if I don't come across as knowing a lot about Newcastle, but I'm not exactly interested in like what their team is. I tell you what, I trust John Joe Shelby to do. I trust him to get sent off, so I'm not worried about him whatsoever.
Let's hope so. He does have a habit of doing some really dumb shit. And that's not just against Spurs. I mean, he just does some
but he's
dumb
old
shit.
School, so yeah.
Yeah. Brian, your thoughts on any players in particular you're worried about? For me, St. Maximum is the one that I'm worried most about. I think he just he has the ability to beat any player, even if they're at the top of their game. What are your thoughts?
I just went. Go on, Rez.
Bobby, no, we are on this campaign. Can you bring that comment up by Bobby K? Yep. No, please just gently click it. Don't have to stop it. Just gently click the like and subscribe buttons. It's very,
that works as well. Either one. How about this? It just make sure that it's pushed. It's engaged in some capacity.
If you're gonna smash it, you have to say that you've Richard keysed the like and subscribe button.
All right,
as
we'll
well.
go with
Can't
that.
smash it anymore. It's Richard Keys. Sorry, Brian. Newcastle.
No. There's just three things before I forget. There's three things
Could
I
you
just
Will
wanted to
Smith
say
it, Rez?
beforehand.
Or sorry.
It
So,
could do.
so first of all, just want to say thank you to George for the super chat, for
Sure.
saying
Yeah,
good
big up,
evening,
George.
gents. Great content as always. It really does mean a lot to us, George. Thank you. Second of all, congratulations to Dermot and Tottenham Tantrum Goal for hitting 400
Yeah, well
subscribers.
done, lads. Well done, lads.
Everyone
Well done, Dermot.
go and hit them up, because Dermot is a fantastic channel and a good friend. And congratulations on that milestone. And where congratulations is, I don't know if she's in the building or listening, but big congratulations to Kirst for getting becoming a ambassador for her game too, and is hopefully going to be working very closely with Tottenham in something she's been dreaming of doing. So congratulations on that. Now back to your question. There is a player that scares me. So Maximum is the danger zone, and I agree with you completely. I would take him over Traore in an absolute heartbeat. But there is a player that worries me, and he's not one of their star players, but he worries me because he's played with Eddie Howe before, and he started to play very well for Newcastle. They ended bad at Bournemouth, but it's Ryan Fraser. Ryan Fraser has become a vital part of that machine. He's a midfielder that is very, very creative. Has got a great range of passing. Has got a good dead ball, even though John Joe Shelby has. Great one by DeBoston Duta as well.
That's a good point.
Chris Wood with his aerial threat could be a big problem.
Set pieces is the biggest one we got to worry about.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He could be. It's a great shout actually by him there. But yeah, Ryan Fraser also is one of those midfielders that don't stop running and will work for the team. So
he's a bit of a unit as well. He's built thing as well. So he's strong on the ball too. So
I'm going to go Chris Wood. Obviously, so Maximum stands out by a long shot, but the more team players that will do the donkey work, that will do the hard work, that will do the yardage, and will offer a great dead ball, and obviously the power of Chris Wood is Chris Wood and Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, for sure. I'll stick with what I was saying about who I'm afraid of in regards to our play and how we're going to set up. There's no debate anymore, is it? It's the same 3-4-3 with the same players as long as they're all fit. And I think going into it so far, based on what we've seen, other than I think Davies might have a problem. We forgot to mention that. The other Welshman, Roden had a very good game. Apparently, Conte watched him play, and was really impressed with his performance. So if one Welshman is out, then maybe we get the other Welshman in, and he fills in reasonably well. But that's the only issue I think from a squad perspective that we're worried about. This team going forward is we're just like. We're on fire when it comes to scoring a lot of goals, really creating a lot of chances. Need to be a bit more clinical. Rez, are you like confident at the very least that we're going to score? So if Newcastle are going to compete with us, they're going to have to score a lot. I don't think they have enough for me.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's the way that Conte sort of sets the defensive part of his game up is that, like Mourinho. He tries to push them out, right? Push them out to the sides, push them out to the wings, and force them to either cross or try and work the ball in from the sides. And that works well when you're playing a back three. In terms of us going forward, that setup that he has, you see us, we play very compact, even at home. And so it will rely on, I think, exploiting weakness. I think that's really Conte's biggest
what he likes to do,
weapon. You know, it's really the epitome of counter-attacking football. It's like, right, I found you, I'm gonna fuck you now, basically. And he's got the weapons to do that.
We should have had some mafia music in the background of that. That would have been brilliant.
Godfather,
and he's got weapons.
Swim with the fishes.
He's got Kane, he's got Son, he's got Kulusevski. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and so it will be. It has the potential to turn into a bit of a ding dong. Because if we're working them out to the sides, what that does lead to though is corners and throw-ins, you know, close to the goal. So the possibility of them getting some set piece goals, yes, we're going to have to outscore them. I think is probably the order of the day. But we can just let them come onto us a little bit, and we can just scythe through them if necessary. You know, just a couple of those triangles. You know, some progressive passes from the likes of Bentancur to Kulusevski. He can work it around the box while Kane and Son come up, or Kane drops back, becomes the creator for Son and Kulusevski on the right, and then the wing backs is possible. And it's very doable. So yeah, I think we've got goals in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's going to be the key. And you mentioned that with the wing backs as well. If the wing backs aren't working, then we have Harry Kane to drop deep. And so we've got options. And, you know, I know that there's been that worry, and there's good reason for it for teams that sit deep. We have found a way past them recently. If you notice, some of the, not as clinically as say a City or a Liverpool typically do, but we're starting to see those passes in between the lines that really do affect a team that does sit deep, and players that are making the runs, the necessary runs to get in behind and either get a cross in or get a ball to the top of the 18 yard.
It's because we've not had Harry Winks. I mean, you know,
it's true. You say had Harry Winks.
We haven't had him.
We haven't, because he hasn't played. Yeah.
It relies on Conte's system relies on triangles, which relies on the progressive passes out, either with your one holding midfielder and two forward, or two at the back and one is your sort of target. The problem is that wherever Winks plays in that sort of system, he's always looking sideways, right?
Yeah.
When you play sideways, what that what's it called? That sort of rapier through the heart of your
stalls it completely.
Is gone. Yeah. Bentancur has shown that however well he plays, he likes to play forward. You know, and Højbjerg is also being allowed to do that too. So, you know, it's working better. You know, when you've got three banks just sort of like bang, 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 and you've got to work. You're not going to do that by, you know, tiki-takaing it around. You've got to get through them either over the top or, you know, stretch them and switch.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Something that I want to bring up as well that Brian, I know, is gets stressed out about, and I think a lot of Spurs fans do, is when other teams press us, we generally have struggled in certain moments. Brian, are you having what you've seen the last few games where we've been able to, despite pressure, touch the ball, playing it from deep and get out and then create a chance, which we've actually done quite a bit. And some of the goals we've scored have been brilliant from doing just that, letting teams come onto us and then cutting them open. Do you think Newcastle have enough to make us uncomfortable in this situation? Or do you think we can take advantage of it like we have recently?
I have no problem with Tottenham playing for the back. I quite enjoy it.
I'm just playing with you a little bit.
No. The thing I have a problem with is when Hugo Lloris has the ball and tries to play the ball from the back. Yeah. As soon as the defender's on the edge of the 6-yard box, or he does a little ball short, or he starts dilly-dallying on the ball, that's when I go batshit crazy. And I've been doing this for about 7 years now. I think Hugo Lloris is one of the greatest shot stoppers the Premier League's seen. I think he has some of the best reflexes the Premiership has ever seen. I think when he first came out, when he used to rush out as a sweeper keeper, one of the best we've ever seen. Put the ball at his feet, and I have heart attacks. And you've seen me when we've been watching games together, Brian. And you saw, if you look at the everyone goes up his distribution, his short kicking game is awful. But then if you look at the third goal against West Ham, what happens? A hoof up from Lloris. Finds Kane onto Son goal.
The assist before the assist, it was a nice one too.
I just don't, and big up Simon. I haven't seen Simon from Premier Hotspur in here for a while, so big up, matey. We got to speak, but yeah, that's what worries me. I think with Dyer, Romero, and David, I think I'm comfortable with them doing it. So with all that, I don't mind. It's just whenever he has the ball. I mean, I was with Rez, literally sitting next to him for the first half of the Wolves game. And that everyone bemoans, forget the first goal where he's playing volleyball and whatever, but that second goal where Ben Davies has got a lot of grief for kicking it up has come because Lloris went to pass it to Davies and it almost went off for a corner.
He's a bit shoddy at it. I agree with that, and that's a hard one to argue with.
That's the part that gets me. That's the only part we're playing it from the back. as soon as he's involved.
To add to what I was saying though, like have you noticed that the difference between when we play from the back how well it works in the counter and how well it works to cut teams open? I've been very impressed by it. I mean, even against United we did it. We just didn't have any finish. But the last 4 or 5 games we've been really, really good at one-touch football from the back and just really just going through teams without really any resistance. Almost it feels like it's a great watch.
I've been screaming for this for ages. Yep. We were so ponderous with the ball,
dicking around for so long.
It was trap, look, pass, and it was always an easy pass. It was like an easy, safe.
Boring football.
Yeah, he's open, so I'll pass it to him, regardless of whether or not it actually helps us get the ball up the pitch. And it was I was tearing what little hair I had left out sometimes. Because it was like, he's open up there and you're passing backwards. It was stuff like that. But now, one-touch passing, you much more of it. It's still not enough for my liking, but that's just personal taste. Much more of that bang, 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 bang.
The fact that it's happening is a Conte product of this team, and I think it's great to watch. And I agree, I'd like to see more of it, but I think the fact that we're seeing it on a regular basis now, and when we're playing it from the back is it's like, yes, finally, this is the football.
When he gets more of the players that that fit
good enough to do it,
we'll see more of it, because that's the one thing. All of his teams, they all know how to play passing football and good high quality passes. You get some high quality passing players in there and they will slot right into the Conte system and will become much more effective.
And that's what we've seen with Bentancur and Decky, right? Those teams, 2 players who play at the highest level. Somebody mentioned in the comments, played in the Champions League, have won Champions League. Thanks George for the comment. These guys are ready for it. They immediately acclimatized to the Premier League, and more of that, please. And it's gonna be a fun watch next season if we can go through a whole preseason with 3 or 4 really good new players and just to bolster the squad.
Especially
go ahead.
Especially if the new players come in, like adjust us to the system and integrate in as well as Decky and Bentancur have, and they've only been here like 2 months. It's like they've been here for 2 years.
Yeah, it's impressive as hell.
I surprised you the most.
Yeah,
well, that comes down to Conte getting the players he wants.
That's true.
Exactly.
Because he wants the players to play that position.
Yep.
Yeah. Getting high quality players that
he knows will fit his system.
Quality. Yep. Not just in terms of looking at them on a spreadsheet and saying, oh, do they fit? Do they have a value that's going to go up? It's are they good players? Yep. There's other things to drill down into with regard to the transfer window, but you cannot deny that they're high quality players.
Yeah,
we definitely need more of those.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's obviously the backing of Conte this summer will determine whether or not we're going to see that next season. There was a question from Super Tottenham about Sonny starting. You could we could all sort of answer this, or I'll quickly say from my perspective, I don't see any issue with them starting, but based on what we've seen from Bergwijn on this international break. Give Sonny a rest if he needs it. Let Bergwijn play. He scored 4 goals, I think, in 2 games. Let him come in. He's proven himself internationally. He just needs some time. But Bri, what are your thoughts on Sonny starting? I know that we kind of discussed this we were Tottenham on tour when we took over.
Yeah.
You can't really not play Sonny because Sonny will do what Sonny does when given the opportunity. But do you think he deserves a rest and we give Bergwijn a chance?
George just put in a super chat as well, George. So thank you very much indeed for hi to all on Tottenham Tour and in the chat. Really appreciate it. Listen, when it comes to Sonny, he's got to start. Well, actually, I say that it depends when he's coming back from Korea.
That's what I don't know about. I
know he played the first game and he scored for them. I don't know if they had a second game. I don't know the day he's coming back. So you got to remember, yes, it's a hell of a long travel, but I'm pretty sure he goes in a private jet, not first class I'm sure he gets private jetted straight back. So
he's not dicking around with immigration and whatnot.
Not even just that. He's got it's not like he's in a tight. He's got everything he wants and needs. He'll sleep. He's weighted on hand and foot. They've got that. So I don't know. Obviously, it's a very, very, very long journey, but he after the West Ham game, you could see it. His touch seems to have been eluding him, but after getting 2 goals, we all know that Son is
Streaky
he has
as
that
hell.
moments where he can be streaky. Exactly.
Yeah.
Where especially with if you look at his goals last season, I think he scored like 14 or 16 of them in all competitions in the first half and 3 in the second half. So we know he is he can be for goals a very, very streaky player, and now he's got a couple of goals. I just don't think you can do it. Although Bergwijn, and people know my love for Bergwijn, and not just me, Bob Spur, Ben from We Are Tottenham TV, Brian. There are a few people that wants to it, and I think Son has to start.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, form is everything, right? And form internationally doesn't necessarily equate to form in the league. It's a different system. It's a different group of players you're playing with. I'd like to see Bergwijn given maybe more time than he's given and give Sonny a little bit more of a rest. So instead of bringing him on with 5 minutes, 10 minutes to go, give him 20, 25 minutes in certain games when you know you've got the game dusted. Rez, before we get score predictions, because we're running out a bit of time here, your thoughts on this? Anything to add from this?
No, I don't think so. I think everyone's sort of encapsulated my thinking on it. Yeah, there's nothing I really think I can add.
Awesome. Score prediction. Let's get it. What do you think?
2-2.
Oh, you're doing a draw as well. Look at you. Oh, Ads, your next, buddy. Prediction?
Draws on, man.
What's that? I think you cut off there, mate. Have we lost that?
Oh, look at that screen freeze as well.
No, he's just not committing himself. He's not frozen. He's just not committing himself.
You're a little frozen there, Ads. What was your score?
Oh, me. Sorry. Did you call my name? Right. Score prediction 2-1. Kane and I on the score sheet, but Newcastle he'll grab a goal back at some stage. I'd say via Joe Linton or someone.
Nice. Bri, you predicted a draw. What's your score line for the draw?
I'm going 1-1, but like Wayne Holland said as well, that the meltdown if we lose. Do you know what? It won't even be a big meltdown from me because, like I said, I expect a draw. I can be it's more the manner, Wayne, that we have these defeats. Whenever it's Newcastle, it's a last-minute thing or a really pathetic decision like the Højbjerg one last season. I remember there was one when we had the first season, or the season that we came third to Leicester, when we lost to Carl Walker own goal against Manchester United, went on a 14-game unbeaten run, played Newcastle, and Perez scored a goal, who's funnily enough at Leicester now. And literally it fell through his hands. It's always the manner that we the 2-2 last season, 2-0 away, and then we draw 2-2. It's Adrian, I've been messaging as well, is going to come on the podcast one day. Adrian's a top guy, so it'll be good to get him. But yeah, I'm going 1-1.
All right, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs. I think we're going to smash them up defensively. They've got fuck all. I'm only going to give them a goal because I think there'll be a set piece probably play where we'll bungle it up again, or St. Maximum will get in behind and get one. And Howie's nice one. Same for me. It's 3-1 for me, and I think comfortable again. I think this team is on its way. They've Conte said it. The players seem to feel it as well. At the same time, we're on the way right now, and I know some people think it's too late. I don't think it is, and I think we finish in fourth, and we win the next 4 games in a row. That's my prediction.
In response to Howie and everyone, we're saying draws. What you've got to work out is me and Rez are being clever. We've gone for draws, but if we win, we're happy. We've got to win. You're going for wins. If we get a draw, because you've been like, oh, we're going to get, and we we you're going to be like, for fuck's sake, this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make my picks based on whether I'm happy or sad or not. I just think we're going to win. So
that's how I'm doing it. I'm hedging my bets for Newcastle, but if we win, I'll be delighted. If we draw, yes, I'll be annoyed. But it's kind of
less of an annoyance for you.
Yeah.
All right, so at the end of our show, we typically like to do this with our guests, and of course, I didn't tell Rez because it's more fun not to tell him. All right, Rez. A little segment we like to do at the end of the show. This is, a little bit of a story about We'll get to your channel, but first of all, how did you become a Spurs fan? Tell us your history on how that happened.
It's a weird one. So basically, we have to go back to the late 70s when my family moved over here. from Iran. I wasn't born yet. And my brother had grown up in the 70s in Iran, and everyone supported Liverpool there. It was all Liverpool. But he didn't like sort of going with the crowd. He was precocious as a 7-year-old, and he sort of hunted around for a team that he liked the sound of. And for a very brief period, he was an Aston Villa fan because he just liked the name. And then he discovered another. Yeah. Then he discovered another team called Tottenham Hotspur, and that became his team. And growing up, in his he was the older brother. I was always, when anyone asked who do you support, it was like, I'm a Tottenham supporter, but I didn't really follow it at all until round about the age of 14, when I actually started to follow it, because I got the very first Premier League sticker book, and sort of, was collecting the stickers and putting them in the book and all of that stuff. And it kindled my love of football. And since then I started following, and eventually went to my first game, and the rest is history.
Nice one. That's a great history. Interesting that you're from Iran. I did not know that about your res, and cool story. So tell us about Shelf Side Spurs. Great channel. I've been on there on a few occasions. Where can people find you? Tell us a little bit about the content over there.
Yeah, so we go out 7 p.m. GMT, so that would be like 2 o'clock Toronto time, and I think it comes to I've been thinking about 2 a.m. Manila time, just for the internationals among us. So yeah, Thursdays 7 p.m. and we keep it quite informal. We talk about all sorts of weird and wonderful things, sometimes going very, very, very far off topic.
It's on the show.
It's fun that way, though. It's I enjoy it.
I think you were on the whale seaman episode, Brian.
Was I on the whale seaman? I think I was, actually.
Yeah,
I think I was.
So those are the sort of topics that we talk about. It's a bit anarchic. It's a little bit esoteric. It's just all over the place. It's hosted by Johnny Einstein, who's a wonderful, wonderful host, and you get Barry and Alan, who's in the chat, on there as well. And we occasionally have guests. We've had Steve Perryman on before. We've had Mickey Hazard on, both really good. We've had other streamers on talking about their history. We do a segment called White Hart Memory Lane. We talk about what you just did, basically, but a lot longer. Sometimes up to 2 hours, and yeah, it's just a bit of fun, and we would love it if you could come along and as I've been campaigning for, gently click the like and subscribe button. We'd be delighted to have you.
Nice. And we just shared the link in the comments. It's also in our description of the show, so hop on over there and make sure you like and subscribe. Rez, always great to have you and always chatting with you, mate. It's clever stuff. Adam or Brian, anything to finish off on before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about Steve Perryman, and I can just see that Josh is in the chat. Josh has given myself the honour. Josh, the Tottenham guy, is actually hosting a show at 7:30 UK time on Friday with Steve Perryman, and I'm going to be co-hosting it. So it's an honour for me.
Oh, nice.
Everyone gets Josh, the Tottenham guy, for that, and just once again, I mean, we love doing our Tottenham on Tour takeover of We Are Tottenham TV. We have some great support that come and watch us throughout whilst we've been growing this channel. I'm not going to go through the names because there are so many in there. I just want to thank once again everyone for their incredible support as always. And any new subscribers that come over to us from We Are Tottenham TV, welcome. And watch out, because there is a lot, and I do mean a lot, of new stuff coming your way very, very shortly.
Yeah, for sure. Ads, anything to say before we sign off, buddy?
Yeah, just to reiterate everything that Brian said, I couldn't have said any better myself. Speaking of content coming your way, though, I'll be releasing a short video tomorrow that I'll be doing either with Brian Ireland, Brian Daigle, or Danny, whoever's available. Basically, most likely it'll be you, Ireland. So I'll just be on the lookout for that. And if you liked this podcast, just share it with your friends, share it with anyone you think is interested, and of course, like and subscribe. And also, if you want or a free Manscaped or our Manscaped kit on special offer, hit that thing in the description, and you'll be sorted.
Yeah, great stuff. And I was gonna end it with that as well. So I want to thank you again, Rez. And of course, we are sponsored by Manscaped right now, and so you're gonna have to watch me talk about my balls for another couple minutes before you get to listen to the wonderful outro. So Bry's got his hands up, so I'm gonna let him.
I've got two fingers up.
We all know what that means.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you
And as always, Levy out.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Support for Tottenham On Tour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So if you're like me and you like to keep your junk tidy, this is the package for you. Ever get a cut on the nut? Or maybe you're like Daigle, you struggle to hear? For us, these tools help manage something we all struggle with in some way. My girlfriend's pretty pleased with the results, let me tell you. It's been quite good. Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived. It arrived a couple weeks ago for us, some of us at different times, and it's been a game changer for me. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 and the nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver, toner, performance boxer briefs, which are fantastic, incredibly comfortable, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. It's the 4th generation trimmer featuring a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof as well and is also has a 400K LED spotlight you need for a more precise shave. Incredibly useful, let me tell you, in certain situations. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor as well. You thought that was good, of course, but you want to take your grooming to the next level, and Brian will. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof as well, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology too, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their crop trimmer ball deodorant and crop reviver ball toner, which change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me, when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which is fantastic. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code TIDYTOT. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And I have to say, I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, both for my nose and for my nuts, and it has been fantastic. It's very comfortable. There's some great tools on it. If you don't like it cut down to the bone, literally, you can put some clips on it to manage the length and how close it gets to you and how comfortable you are with it. But absolutely fantastic stuff. Manscaped.com. Cheers.
Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour.